What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a try on review style video. This is, I believe, the first time that I've ever done it in this kind of style outside of like maybe a Sephora haul, where I am showing you guys a whole lot of products. There are even quite a few categories where I'm splitting up my face to show you guys products on this side that I'm not showing you guys on this side. So I hope you guys are really interested and excited for this. I had a lot of fun sitting here showing the products and just putting on some makeup, especially, at the point of my day. I'm just kind of, it's time to relax, So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you're not already subscribed, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. Also, check out my description box. I have so much information down there about any of my other social medias, other ways that you can connect with me. All of these items, of course, will be listed and linked down below, and maybe some other videos that I have referenced in this video along the way as well. So yeah, with that said, let's just get into it. Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing another round of video, the first one of the year, but this time it's going to be with a little bit of a twist. I'm going to be applying the makeup so that you guys can see. I'm going to be reviewing it. Now I do have more makeup than just what I am reviewing today, so if you want to see another one, I definitely can go ahead and bring it to you guys, but I thought that this would give you guys even more clarity, especially because for some of this stuff, it's been quite some time since I've showcased it on my channel. So I'm just putting on a primer, but this is the glow recipe. Now I'm going to be applying things half of my face. In some cases I only have one product to review, so it will be going all over my face. Now, because of the foundation that I'm using, I'm actually going to put a serum mist on top. This is just the Tonely Moly one. I believe I got this from Yes Style. I will be using this again at the end of applying my makeup. What I will say is there's quite a lot of, it's a strong mister. So if you don't like your face to really be drenched, I would say put the mister a little bit further away. That said, it's a very even mist. So I don't mind it, and I use it in this type of technique where I really want my face to be moisturized, whether it's for the foundation or something else. Next, I have the Fenty Eavesdrop Liquid Foundation in the shade 20. Now, I picked this up super late compared to a whole lot of people. I just wanted to try it out before I potentially picked up the stick. I find that historically, I have preferred the more liquidy formulations to products outside of the sticks, just because the sticks tend not to work for combination skin. That said, I think at this point my preferences have drastically changed. Now with this, I prefer using a sponge, and like I said, that mist, because this does dry down. It dries down quite a bit. I would definitely say this is a more traditional matte finish if you don't kind of manipulate it, and I just don't prefer a matte finish anymore. I definitely prefer a more skin-like finish, and it doesn't have to have a lot of coverage. As you can see, there's not a lot of coverage that I applied. I am just going to add a tinge bit more, and I'm just going to apply the product straight on my sponge. Because there's not a lot of coverage, this could be like not the best shade for me, but I find that I've been enjoying this shade. And if you're wondering on the liquid, the other liquid foundation from Fenty, I am 440. Because it does dry down though, this actually really has great longevity for my combination skin, but just in the feel, in the application, I prefer to really add quite a bit of moisture. That's why I use a sponge and that spray. If you prefer something that is a little bit more traditionally matte, then I would say you can still use a sponge, but maybe just don't use a spray or something like I did, because it will still dry down. But the combination of those two, I really, really like it. Let me come in a little bit closer so you guys can see. Hopefully you guys can see it looks really nice on my skin. I don't feel like it's emphasizing anything, and we'll talk about, what it looks like overall once I finish my face. Now for cream bronzer. I have two different cream bronzers that I want to talk about, and the first one is actually a stick. This is the Persona. I picked this up in the shade Sahara, and I was just really excited because I saw them showcasing this on a darker skin model, and I was like, this is my time to shine. I finally get to try this formula, and now I can try this and the blush formula. Let me show you guys. So This is the issue. As you can see, this is lighter than my foundation. And if you're looking at the bottom color stamp, and then just also, like I said, the swatches online, the models that they're showcasing it, this is just not giving what was advertised. And for me, it's it's not even kind of, it's very annoying to constantly have brands do this. I'm not saying that Persona's the only brand, but this is just the one that I have to talk about today. I just don't like the fact that on the advertisements, it's showing somebody and showing a pigment darker than what is appearing on my skin. I really think that it's 2024. Let's get it together. Now, this bronzer is in the shade Amber, and I'm really liking this shade. It is not their darkest shade. I want to say they have at minimum a couple of shades deeper. And as you can see, it actually does show up on my skin tone. Now, Juvia's Place is, of course, a Black-owned brand. So, of course, they're going to cater to my darker skin. And yeah, I can say that I have easily enough bronzers to last me a lifetime. That said, I think that if you're going to advertise a product to work on a darker skin, it actually needs to work on a darker skin. I do like that cream bronzer. I will say the actual amount of product was significantly smaller than I was expecting. I'm not going to lie. I was expecting a pan similar to like the NARS or the ABH, whereas this is quite thin. I think I've seen people talk about it, but I don't know. I wasn't expecting it. I like the color. I like the depth. It's not my favorite undertone, not my favorite formula. I think this is just an okay formula. If you're somebody who just wants something cheap and affordable that works from Ulta, that's definitely something to pick up. I'm going to powder because that's my preferred method. I prefer to powder prior to applying creams. I don't know where I wasn't thinking when I just was about to reach for that cream. So let me just do my under eyes. This is just my Pat McGrath under eye setting powder in the shade Yellow. Okay, so like I was saying, the shade Guava from Persona, and yes, it shows up. It's just not the amount of pigment that I prefer. It does work though. So if you are somebody who likes a little bit more of a subtle amount of pigment, this is definitely something that you can use. You can also just use this for a very easy kind of base. If you're somebody who likes to put a cream blush under and then put a powder blush on top, this will definitely work, and you guys will see that in just a second on this particular side. But is this my favorite? No, because I find once I continue to build this side up in this Persona blush up, it gets a little bit too dewy. It gets a little bit more towards the original formula of the Tower 28 cream blushes and not their more dried out formula once it has expired in my collection. And then on the other side, this is the Fining Ferdinand cream blush in spritz. This was with the collaboration with Khaki for the Abroad collection that they did in the summer. This is a really nice cream blush. Now, I do find a little bit of a hassle with my preferred blush brush getting into the packaging, but this definitely gives me the color pigment that I particularly like, and it definitely has a little bit less of a sheen. So I find that I can more easily build this up or even just kind of pack this on, and I don't find that it gives me as much sheen as this cheek has over here. It is still lifelike, don't get me wrong, but I just prefer this formula more. And I also tend to prefer packaging and formulas that are in this type of compact more than, you know, sticks. So that kind of just aligns with my preferences. Now for powder bronzer on this side, I'm going to be applying something from Bobbi Brown. This is the Luxe Cheek and Highlight palette. I will be reaching for this palette for a variety of different products. So I just find that this formula specifically for the bronzer is just a little bit too hard for me to really pick up the product. And on top of that, the bronzer really just doesn't show up. It really doesn't show up. It's nice. It's okay. Is it a preferred favorite? Would I say you guys really missed something if you didn't pick this up during the holidays? Absolutely not. If you're wanting the particular shade, this one, I will have it linked down below. I don't see a particular shade on the back of that. On the other side, when it comes to bronzer, I'm going to be showcasing the Victoria Beckham Bronzer Brick, and this is in the shade 04. I believe there is one additional shade deeper than this one, and I must say I am thoroughly impressed with this formula. I find that this formula is really, really nice. There is shimmer in the middle of my face. There must have been shimmer on a brush and I did not know. That's not fun. Okay, well, we'll fix that. So this is a really nice shade. I really, really like this shade. I like the formula here. It does remind me in a sense to the Wayne Goss. I think the luxury of this item is great. It is extremely weighted. I really like this. I like this shade also, very similar to the trick that Khaki does on her channel, and I've kind of embody that as well. And you'll see I probably will do it today, where if your blush is too stark from your under eyes, if you use a kind of lighter bronzer to merge those two together, it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So highly recommend that. I really like that bronzer book. I would recommend it. Is it worth the price? Maybe not. I mean, there's definitely another bronzer brick that you can get, or a bronzer product somewhere that you can get. I just really like it, and for the luxury aspect, I think it's good. Going back in with this Bobbi Brown palette again, let's just dive into the powder blush. And I will say I actually do like the blush. I find that the formula here is a lot better. I've actually been able to dig into this blush a lot more. And as you can see, I find that this blush is a little bit more matte than you maybe would have expected. So I find that it kind of dulled down the persona a little bit, but also brought some more color. So that is definitely a preferred product here for me, is this blush. And now to even out what I've done on this side to this side, let's go into the powder blushes. Now I am so excited to finally be able to review for you guys the powder blushes from Shroud Cosmetics. I have showcased, I want to say, all of these blushes on my channel, on my face with applications, and I also have one of the highlighter shades as well. Today I'm going to be using the shade Kiss of Twilight. So this was one of the shades that I was like really excited to play with. I've been really enjoying these like mauvier tones. What I will say, and actually maybe I'll mix this. I think I'm gonna mix this with a bit of Sunset Sorbet. What I'm gonna say is that these shades have a bit of a sheen to them. So if that is not a preferred like type of product, then I definitely would not recommend it. But that said, I really like these products. They are extremely pigmented. They are a little bit powdery, so do just know that. But I find that you can kind of really blend them into the skin, and they just look a little bit more lifelike. That's why I don't mind the like shimmery aspect. And I also find that for me, in my darker skin, even if something is more shimmery, it just does not appear as shimmery as maybe somebody of a lighter skin tone. So for both sides, I really wanted to go ahead and apply the Victoria Beckham cream highlighter. Now I got this in the shade Amber, and this is just a preferred shade for me. It's like a warm bronzy shade. I do the same technique as I do with my Merit cream highlighter stick. I just go ahead and use my finger and tap, tap, tap. This is a really nice cream highlighter, right? It's not something that I think is something you have to run off to the rooftops and scream about, but it's very subtle. And for Victoria Beckham, which really is like a luxury brand, this is enough, right? Her main constituency, her main audience isn't gonna want the type of cream highlighter that maybe I'm looking for, the one that I enjoy particularly, like I always say, from Merit Beauty. I really like this. I like the formula, so I'm really happy that I did pick it up. This is not nearly as weighted as some of her other products in her range and the ones that I will be talking about today, but I still nonetheless think that it's a really good product and I would recommend it. going back to this side of my face, we're going to go right back into that Bobbi Brown face palette for holiday. And I'm going to go into the highlighter and we're just going to work that right on top of the cream highlighter. This highlighter is actually really, really nice. Once again, these are the two products, the highlighter and the blush are the two products in this palette that I thoroughly enjoyed. The bronzer could go somewhere. Like I could really leave the bronzer, but the highlighter is really, really nice. It is subtle. There is not really any shimmer that I can see, but I like the subtleness. I like the sheen that I'm given, and it's just really nice. I like the compact. I really like the full-on vibes of it. I just wish that bronzer was darker than what they really gave us. On my other side, going along with the powder highlighters, I'm going to give you guys the Shroud highlighter, and this is in the powder formula as well, and this one definitely has some shimmer, so if you're not a fan of that, I definitely would not recommend at least this particular shade, which is Celestial Haze. This has more of like an orange kind of warm golden base with some, I would say, pinky gold shimmer running throughout. I really like this shade as well. This is definitely a product that, once again, I would recommend. And the best part about particularly these Shrouds is that they're not very expensive. The Shroud products were actually very affordable. I got 4 of them. I was very happy of spending my money. I felt like the brand at the time did really good at getting me my product in a reasonable amount of time. So yeah, I'm really, really happy about that. Okay, so I've been able to do my brows. Let's get into the eyes. So I thought I had so much things that I wanted to kind of show you guys, and there's too many things. So let's just start with this side. I'm gonna be showcasing to you guys the Auric Smoke Reflect Duo in Defiance. Now this is a product very similar to like the Tom Ford duos, where you get a cream at the bottom and like a powder shimmer product on the top. So I'm just going to use a brush. I prefer to use a brush with this cream just to get it on my eye. I picked up this shade, of course, because I've just been really into neutral products, especially around my eyes, and this bronzy shade is spectacular. I think this is one of the best kind of no makeup bronzy shades that I have. The only reason that I did not add it in that video is because I had not reviewed it yet, and I wanted to just keep that in that area. I like to keep things in the area that it needs to be in. I don't particularly go in with a matte in the crease or anything like that, because I find that this just blends into my skin effortlessly. This is something that I personally prefer to set down, and if I wanted this to last long term, I would have put on a primer. I'm done for my day. I'm just chilling in the house, so I'm not really that pressed, but I would recommend, especially if you're like me and you have oily lids, put down whatever eyeshadow primer you prefer and then apply that cream. I really, really like it. Then we have the kind of topper shade, and this shade, it is just not a preferred shade for me to go with the base shade that we have. I just find that this is just a little bit too stark on my eyes, and I don't know, it's just, is it maybe that it's too cool toned? I think that's what it is. It's just a little too cool toned for me. There is some orange shimmer to it, but since I'm reaching for this to be like a very neutral eye look, I find that this is just a bit much. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong, and I will come in close so that you guys can see, but it's just a bit more than I would kind of bargain for. I will probably add some other things throughout this look just to make it a full-on look. You guys know I love to do an outer V shade, but you know, if I had to do a one and done shade, this would work. It really would. Then on the other side, I'm going to be messing with a combination of products to kind of give me, hopefully, somewhat of an equivalent kind of eye look. So for my cream shade over here, I'm going to use the Merit Cream Solo Stick. Now, this was the rave last year. A lot of people were talking so much about these products, and I just had to try it. So I picked up this more brown tone one, and I picked up the green tone. I think the green tone is Viper, and this one is in Brun. This shadow, once again, I mean, even if you have dry lids, I think that there needs to be a primer if you want some longevity. The actual color works really good for me, so that is definitely a positive. And I apply a thin layer. In applying that thin layer, I find that this does not crease as badly as it could, but this is not a preferred formula for me. I like it, but it's not preferred. For something as matte like this, I would just prefer a stick. Will I use this? Yes, I paid for it and I do like the formula. I can make the formula work, so I will use it. But I will say, if we're comparing just cream to cream, I would recommend the Auric on top, or more so. And then for a more shimmer on this side, I'm gonna reach for a Victoria Beckham lid luster. I'm going to reach for the shade Honey because I think it's going to be somewhat similar to what I already have on my other eye. As for the Victoria Beckham lid lusters, I find that it is best to apply them with a finger. I have claws on right now, so that's not a possibility, but I prefer this color combination. If you can see, it's just a lot more neutral and it stays within the bounds that I prefer. So like if I had to find a perfect combination, I would take the base color from the Auric and use this Honey lid luster. I think that would be great. But to make them look a little bit more symmetric, I think I'm going to apply a little bit of Tea Rose, which is a little bit of a cooler color kind of from Victoria Beckham. I probably should have just went with this shade, but I just prefer the Honey shade. The Honey shade would be the one shade that I would pick up. This Tea Rose is nice, but it's not the one that I think I'm going to gravitate towards. If we're talking about these eyeshadow products that I'm applying, I like the fact that I can just buy one compact and get two different formulas. I think the formulas both in this are great. I just prefer the color of the cream to the color of the powder, but still really good formulas. You can make this top shadow more opaque, once again, with your finger or wetting your brush or just doing more of a flat brush. I didn't want a very opaque application. That's why I used a fluffier brush. As for the cream shadows on this side, I think they're fine. I don't think you should honestly spend them full price. I definitely think you should get them on a discount. For a discount, if you're somebody who does one shadow looks that are cream based or kind of just matte colors that are cream, I definitely think you could get your money's worth out of this. I definitely think that long term it will last potentially longer than like a cream eyeshadow because you're just picking up less product naturally, and the smaller amount of product that you apply, the less it's going to break up and, you know, crease. As for the lid lusters from Victoria Beckham, I actually really like them. I do prefer them with my finger. Once again, if I want that opaque color. In the application I wore today, I really like fluffing it in. Like I said, I think I'm going to reach for Honey more often. It's just a little bit closer to my skin tone and just more skin native to me, as Khaki says. But that said, the Tea Rose shade is really nice, and I find that it has enough warmth in that shade that I don't find it so stark as I found that lid luster or the top shadow from the Auric. I hope all of this made sense. So I have two liners. This was a holiday set that I picked up. I had to pick it up. This was the Kulfi eyeliners, and anything, if I haven't already said, anything that is being used today, I will have listed and linked down below. So it came with a shimmery brown, I believe. Is this a shimmery brown? Yeah, a shimmery brown, and this is in the shade Jaman Glaze. And then it came with a black in Nazar No More. I didn't have these two shades, so I wanted to go ahead and play with them. I love this formula, so that's why I went ahead and picked it up. No fear at all, and I would highly recommend this formula. It is extremely creamy. They blend well on the waterline and the tight line. And I also find that they last really, really long on my eyes. Really, really long. I have now, I want to say 3 or 4 of these, and I will continue to honestly collect these, especially for the more unique colors as they come out. I just really, really like them. And for inner corner highlight today, I'm going to actually use the same product. Things are everywhere, so I don't actually know where all the other products are from this range that I picked up, but this is the Phytosurgence Astral Atmosphere cream shadow that I picked up. So this is, I think Astral Atmosphere might be the color. I'm not familiar with, I can't remember, so I will have it, of course, down below. This is an interesting formula. I prefer this formula. You do have to warm it up, and I find that there's like a slight seal on the products prior to you playing with it, so don't expect it to like come out of the package and be perfect, but I think this is a really good formula. I don't prefer to use this as a base, not a preference for me, because it does have shimmer. So because it's not a smooth kind of metallic and it does have shimmer, I'm probably never going to use those as bases, but for inner corner highlight, maybe even topping over like a cream matte shadow, yes, I really like it. I don't find that it creases too badly on me personally, and overall I think it works. I think it works. Keeping it going, I got two different mascaras to talk to you guys about today. One is from Finding Ferdinand. So this was a mascara that they shipped in all of the pre-orders for the summer collaboration that they did with Khaki, because it took so long for them to get the actual orders filled. And I'm one of those people, I'm willing to give a mascara a shot, because I am pretty good at throwing away my mascaras every 3 months, because I just don't want a potential issue with my eye area. It's just not a cute area to really have an issue with, if we're being frank. That said, this mascara is really quite nice when it comes to lengthening. I don't find that this gives me the volume that I want. And, you know, I think this is fine. I definitely think that for me, the longer it dries out, the more it will be something that I want to get use out of. And I'm already enjoying it more than when I originally tested it out, because it's been sitting, waiting for me to review it for you guys. So the longer it dries out, I think the more I'm going to get use out of it and enjoy it. I definitely find that it needs to kind of continue to build. So maybe if you're somebody who does quite a few layers, this would be better. I'm not that person. I really am one of those people, even if I'm not putting on lashes, I only do one coat of mascara and then I'm out the door. So this is an okay one. Apparently it lifts the lashes. I don't need lift. My lashes are already very kind of arched and high. So that's not something that I can really give you guys any information on. I can just tell you if it's long lengthening or if it's volumizing. Now on this side, I'm going to be using my MAC Stack Lash Mascara. This is a really interesting mascara. Once again, another one of those products that really got popular last year, and I kind of understand why. I like it. Once again though, I find that this is going to be another formula that I just prefer after the longer it dries out. This one gives even less volume than the Finding Ferdinand. So if you're somebody who is very much into a clunky lash or a clumpy lash, this is just not for you. This is definitely more so for the girl or the person that prefers a straight up lengthening mascara. Not a preference for me. I prefer, once again, volume over length. So yeah, I mean, I'll get use out of it. I'll use it right before I put on lashes, as I am doing today. But outside of that, nah. And for me, because this kind of top of the brush to the handle is so short, I find that I do a lot more errors, and I'm sure you guys can see where I have a lot of mascara on my lid because it's just a shorter span. I'm used to a longer kind of wand, and so that distance just throws me off just a tinge. So we're getting to the final steps of this makeup look, and of course I have two different lashes that I want to talk to you guys about. I have one set from Dominique Cosmetics, and this is their faux mink lashes, and the other set I want to talk about is the Auric the Velvet Flutter collection. With the Dominique Cosmetics, you only get one pair of lashes in this packaging, which is very much standard. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh wow, I wanted more. But I will say for the Auric, you actually get 2 pairs. The good thing about this, if you're somebody who kind of flip-flops between liking half lashes and full lashes, you get a pair of half lashes, and then at the bottom you get a set of full lashes. I'm gonna do the full lashes today just so it's a little bit more close to home with these 2 different kind of styles. And let me find my lash glue. For the Dominique Cosmetics, what I will say is these are extremely lightweight. They are very bendable, which I do appreciate. And both of these brands have a black band in case that matters to you. I prefer a black band. It's just easier for me to manipulate personally in my experience, but you know, do you when it comes to which one you prefer. The difference in the style here is, I would say, I don't want to say subtle, but subtle. The Dominique Cosmetics is pretty symmetric over the whole band, whereas the Auric has more of a curve, so it's going to look a little bit more elongating if you're applying it. So these should look different after I get them both on. I just need to get this last one on. Okay, sorry guys, my camera died on me while I was applying the lashes. And what I'm gonna say is that both pairs are extremely lightweight and very, very comfortable. There's nothing uncomfortable about either pair. But what I will say is because they are so lightweight and so comfortable, I find that historically, at least for me, these types of products, I don't get to use as many wears. So like my Juvia's Place, my Lily Lashes, because those brands are a lot sturdier, I can use them for a lot more uses than like brand styles like this that I just feel are just a little bit too lightweight. So I do like them. I like them both. I really like, again, that the Auric comes with that combination. I'd never tried half lashes, so just trying it was really nice. I don't think they're for me. I definitely think that I'm either a full lash or no lash, and I think that's fine to know. It was just nice to try them. But yeah, I'm really liking this look. I think the look doesn't look too bad at all. Let me just find a lip liner. We're gonna throw on a lip and then we'll be done. Lip liner today is from Makeup Forever in Limitless Brown. And then the lip product that I want to talk to you guys about today is from Valentino. So this is their shade 120A, I believe. And as the formula suggests, this is definitely a matte. This is not a very suffocating matte. I think that this is definitely a little bit more creamier than what people naturally will think of. The packaging is really nice. I love the back. I love this. I was able to get this for a really nice discount, so that's why I picked it up. Is the undertone perfect? No, but I can make this work, as I told you guys in one of my latest videos. And I will have that down below. I really, really like this. I like this look overall. I would personally do another round of setting spray, so I think I am going to. And then I can kind of give you guys my final thoughts on like all of these products. So overall, I don't think there were any true duds. Are there things that I would say I don't highly recommend and others that I more so recommend? Yes. And with the way that I use the Fenty foundation, I'm liking it a lot more than maybe my initial application use, where it just felt so drying, so suffocating. It's really not that bad. And I've seen really, really good commentary about the stick. So I'm not gonna lie, I would love to try the stick. Do I need the stick right now? No, I have a lot of foundations, but just understanding that and understanding how I use different products, but I think overall my look looks very symmetric. And unless you're really looking at it fine-tunedly, you can't really tell that I used 2 separate products on pretty much every category on the respective sides. Let me zoom in so you guys can see everything. So as you can see, my forehead looks really, really good. Everything's looking really good. Everything. I think even the blushes kind of settled themselves, and I don't even feel like now that I need to do the kind of technique that Khaki has done with that bronzer. I think that everything has kind of worked itself out. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing this full face where I was really showing you guys the products. Do you like this version? Would you prefer me to just do the roundup where I don't really have, you know, the application in the video, please definitely let me know down below. I will definitely take that into consideration. As like I said, I have so many other products. I'm still currently testing out things. So this is going to be a constant wheel where I'm just reviewing products for you guys, things that I bought last year, I started testing out last year, I never finished testing out last year, and then of course, anything new that I pick up this year. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. I appreciate either way so that I know how you guys feel about this video. Of course, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but it really helps me out. And yeah, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.